Today I'm exploring a road that I've wanted to for a long time. This is Warm Springs Canyon Road in western Death Valley, leading up into the Panamint Mountains. So we just came up this dirt road that was pretty burly, but we were able to do it. We have a couple of four-wheel drive SUVs and a Sprinter van. It's all-wheel drive. All the vehicles made it up this far fine. Our aim is to get all the way to Anvil Springs, where there's some volunteer cabins you can stay in overnight for free. So it's about another 10 miles up the road. But we stopped off here for a little detour because there's this amazing abandoned mining encampment here. It's fucking amazing. There's all these buildings and they're in pretty good shape. Actually, there's a fireplace in one of the rooms and there's a huge warm spring swimming pool that is kind of gnarly right now, full of algae. But I guess if you cleaned it out, it'd be an awesome place to take a swim in the summertime. It's a little chilly for that today. It's mid-March, March 21st. And the weather's nice, but I wouldn't want to jump in that water. It wasn't that warm. I'm gonna hike over and show you some of the amazing buildings of this old mining encampment. I mean, you can walk right into them. They've got linoleum floors. You can see this used to be a bathroom. I'm gonna try not to breathe too deeply because there's supposed to be hantavirus from all the mouse droppings. But look at this awesome, I mean, buildings aren't in that bad of shape. Several rooms. And then out front, ta-da, the pool. Isn't that amazing? This pool is fed by a spring that runs down. We just hiked all the way up the mountain to the source of the spring, and it was absolutely beautiful. It led to this amazing, pretty warm little pool coming right out the side of the mountain. Oh, this guy's getting ready to take off on his dirt bike. It's a Monday, and there's an astonishing number of people here. As remote and rugged as this was to get to. So, I was going to show you the room that had the fireplace in it, but I think we better get on the road to make sure we get to these cabins that we want to stay in before somebody else does. Fuck, I didn't realize it was going to be so busy out here. Yeah, out there in the distance you can see he's riding towards this huge mine shaft. It's far out. This is a really cool valley. We made it to a cabin. I'm sitting here by this roasty, toasty fire. It's not actually the cabin I wanted to stay in. We rolled up to the Geologists Cabin right around dark, right around dusk. Road was getting really burly. We were kind of getting nervous, and there was already cars parked in front of it and lights on. Somebody else had gotten there first. So we kept going and got to this second cabin here, which I think is Russell's camp. And nobody was here, and it was the best feeling in the world because by then it was pretty much totally dark, and we were just tired, wanted to get out of the car, and the road was getting even worse. And we were so happy to find this little cabin, and it's awesome. You can't really see; it's pretty dark in here. But I'll show you in the morning. It's a fully stocked, kind of like little hunting cabin, and this fire puts out an amazing amount of heat. It's really nice. So I'll check back in the morning and show you what it looks like in better detail. Yay! It's morning and we survived spending the night in this fucked up cabin, man. You'll see it in the daylight. This is very rustic. Found some documentation inside the cabin last night to indicate that this is known as Stella's cabin, or I think Russell's cabin. It has two names. Panamint Russ built it. Some guy named Panamint Russ. Anyways, actually it wasn't bad. We had a little fire cranking in the stove. We had some fun last night, alright? Things were eaten and drunk. And then we went over, and there's this side cabin here. So that's the main cabin where we spent the night. Well, then there's a side guest cabin. We were pretty high, tripping. We went in here last night. Oh my god, check this out. I'm curious to see if this is actually as interesting in the light of day sober as it was last night. This cabin here, this is just the guest cabin. You can see it's pretty decent condition. There's a lot of mouse droppings on the floor though, so they warn you of hantavirus. But so last night we were looking in this, I don't know if you can see this, I guess it's a window, but in the outside the window frame some creature has built like this nest. You really can't see, but it's full of lizard bones and dead insects and feathers, and it's just really creepy, especially when you're super high, and especially when you're considering sleeping on the floor in the other cabin. You're already kind of sketched out about that. But I mean, if you really had to, and if we hadn't had an option, this cabin wouldn't be bad to stay in. The light's really shitty, but there's a little wood stove in here, and you know, whatever, we would have done what we had to. But let's go check out the main cabin. Fresh dog poop around here, so I gotta be careful. You can see there's some really cool found object art that people have hung up. Pair of skis. We brought the hula hoop, so that wasn't here, but yeah, and I don't know if you can see this. Somebody has the roof is actually wired onto boulders to hold it on, which we know why, because it was really windy last night. So apparently there's crazy conditions in here. All right, here we are. This is the main cabin that we stayed in, Stella's cabin, and you can see there's a warning notice here for hantavirus from all the mouse droppings. So you just want to be careful if you sweep the floor, don't breathe in. You just really got to be careful, basically. But we were careful, man. Check this out. This is where we stayed. This is Stella's cabin. Pretty big single room. Got all the amenities of modern life. This wood-burning stove really did us well last night. It kept the cabin really toasty, and it was cold and windy, so they got a little kitchen setup going on here. Even its own little paper towel holder. How cool is that? The sink. You want to see something that'll blow your mind? Out here in the middle of Death Valley? Running water. Really cool. There's all kinds of weird shit people left on the shelves over the years, like donations. Like, oh, here's a little tiny nip of whiskey, mezcal. Somebody left some tincture, reader glasses, some Dinty Moore stew, odds and ends you might need for the next person. You know, some douchebags left some empties. These cool old newspaper articles about the cabin back in the day, the history of it. This guy, Bob Howard, how cool is that? You probably can't see. But he used to stay in this cabin all the time. Really cool. We had a really good time reading some of this literature that's left behind here. There's a whole drawer full of magazines. Oops, well, you'll take my word for it. This drawer is full of magazines. Look at this. National Geographic, Cosmopolitan. This was the best, though. From Boy to Man, What Boys Should Know About Growing Up. It's about puberty. It was really interesting. Man, oh, look at this. There's even a chart for the night sky to find the constellations. But what was really interesting is there's these composition books here. Make sure we clean up all our mess. Where people have left notes, people who stayed here. And you can read through the past entries, and it's friggin' interesting.
The rats.
Yeah, there's a lot of hype in here about giant rats. Don't let the hype scare you, dude. We were freaked out by it. But first of all, you have to remember these would be these little cute desert rats, like kangaroo rats.
Yeah, it's not that they're
Secondly, the rat that you picture is like a big London sewer rat. It's not the same thing. So I didn't see or hear anything last night. It was fine. Fridge. Oh, we left a few things in the fridge we need to remember to take out. But yeah, there's this whole little refrigerator. It's not plugged in, obviously, but, you know, whatever. There's syrup and stuff in there somebody left behind. A few books on the shelf. You get bored, a little reading material. This one here looks pretty good. The Lute Player. Ooh. American flag. A little nip of whiskey. And then a table. Well, now the light sucks, you can't see, but there's a table and 2 chairs here in the corner. to sit down in. So when we came in last night, we fired up a fire. We put out some hors d'oeuvres. It was awesome. We had a really fun night. We weren't bothered by any rats. So far, nobody's come down with hantavirus. I really give this place a solid 5 stars, and I would definitely stay here again. So I was at Saline Valley Hot Springs about 6 months ago, and this guy in one of the pools one night was telling me about this stone cabin way out in the desert called the Geologists Cabin that you can stay in for free. It's got a fully equipped kitchen with pots and pans that are like 100 years old, but everybody just kind of takes care of it and leaves it in better condition than they found it. And it's got a sound system and a fireplace. Wait, what? Out in where? The middle of Butte Valley, this really remote part of Death Valley. Well, I didn't really believe the guy because, you know, it's a hot spring and he's probably high. But I'll be a monkey's uncle if that guy wasn't telling the truth. Because I'm here today in Butte Valley at the Geologist's Cabin. Wait until you see inside this cabin. It's amazing. Beautiful stone walls, solid door. Little light change when I come in here. And yeah, dude, it's a fully equipped cabin. There's cleaning supplies, there's canned goods, there's a dining room. Oh shit, the light sucks so bad. There's a dining room set up. There's an awesome stone fireplace. And there is a sound system and electric lights. This guy wasn't fucking lying. The only bummer with this place is it's first come, first serve. And since it's the nicest cabin up here, motherfuckers are constantly reserving it. Like this says cabin is currently occupied. Somebody hung this up just to let us know, like, we're coming back, so don't camp here. We tried to stay here last night, but on our way in we saw there was cars parked in the driveway, so I guess they just went out for a day trip and they're coming back. But fuck, we want to stay here so bad. Next time we come out, look at this, like these little kerosene lamps, sink. Oh man, really, really, really a nice cabin. Oh, and then there's one other thing I want to show you about this cabin. A little path lit with solar lights around the side here. You come around to the front of the cabin and there's this amazing view of the valley. And the sound system even extends outside. So you can have a fire in the fire pit, listen to music, and look at this amazing view. Can you imagine anything better? I can't. I have to come back here and get this fucking cabin. I swear. Even the outhouse at this cabin is really nice. It not only is it super clean, it has an electric light in it with a timer. I mean, this cabin is 5 stars all the way. And look at it. In one of the most desolate valleys, in one of the most desolate areas in all of North America. Absolutely astonishing.